to SkywayTj, guys, and as it is October, we are continuing our spooky, spectacular rank list with today's entry being A Nightmare on Elm Street. There are 9 movies in this franchise, started all the way back in 1984 by the horror legend himself, Wes Craven. Without further ado, we're about to hop into these. These movies went from very scary to turning Freddy into almost a Looney Tunes cartoon character by the end of them. But we're going to hop into them. It's a pretty interesting franchise. And yeah, let's start the ranking. Alright, in 9th and dead last place, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010. This is the remake of the original. This came when every horror franchise was pretty much being remade and rebooted. This movie sucks. It's the only one in the franchise that isn't Freddy isn't portrayed by Robert Englund, which is fair. Robert Englund is getting old, and he doesn't want to play the character anymore, which is fine. But this one, it's just fucked. The dude who plays him does an okay job, but this movie does everything, and I mean almost shot-for-shot remake parts from the original, but it does them completely worse with horrible CGI. And this one also does this thing where they confirm that Freddy Krueger is a child molester. In the previous entries, he's always just been a child killer. It's always been implied that he, has done worse things, but Wes Craven intentionally left that out of the original movie because he felt like it was a bit too far, and there was a bunch of things going on with that actually happening in real life. So Freddy was not. So yeah, I don't like this addition to the franchise. It pretty much sucks, and that's why we haven't got a new Nightmare movie in a very long time. So yeah, this one's dead last. Next up, I have Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare. Spoiler, it wasn't. Yeah, this movie, it's ridiculous from the get-go. It starts off by telling us that all the children in the world are like dead or something, and that alone was crazy. Or it's either all the children in the world are dead or all the children in Springfield are dead. I don't fucking know. But this is where Freddy is at his most cartoonish. The plot just doesn't make any fucking sense. The characters are all horrible in this one. Freddy is in his top tier Bugs Bunny stupidity. It's too much. Maybe if you watch it with some buddies and you act like this is a comedy, then maybe it's passable. But for me, I watched this alone and I was miserable watching it. So yeah, this is the next one. Next up, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. This one deals with one of our characters who is pregnant with someone, and Freddy is using their unborn child to get into her dreams and his dreams and all this other stupid shit. Yeah, there are some fun kills in this one, but ultimately, it's a lot of the same horse shit that Freddy's been doing. As these movies progress, the characters got less and less fun, and they were just kind of there to watch Freddy do absurd things. There's a scene at the end of this where the kid, the kid gets birth, but he's like almost fully grown, and he has like Freddy makeup on, and he does really weird voice. He's like, "I want to be like you. Teach me." It's terrifying. Yeah, this movie's bad, but it's always fun to watch Freddy do his thing. So it's not the worst on the list, but it's definitely not good. So next up, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. This follows a character from our previous movie in Dream Warriors, which is the 3rd movie. She's now the lead character. She brings her friends into this world, and then Freddy goes to hunt down the last of the Elm Street kids because he always gets resurrected in the next movie. This movie has fun kills, but again, nothing spectacular to talk about. Freddy this is the point where he's turning more and more and more into a cartoon character, and yeah, it's interesting, but there's better ones. Entering the top 5, we have Freddy vs. Jason. This movie actually kind of rips. You watch these 2 iconic horror legends go at it in an all-out street brawl. Yeah, it kind of rules. I'm not gonna lie. Every character that gets hit by anything in this movie flies across the screen like you just threw them, like a guy with a truck or something. Like Jason swings at someone at one point, and she literally goes flying like 500 feet into a tree. It's fun. This is like a WWE cage match. I don't like the human characters talking about how Jason died by water, Freddy by fire. How can we use that? That shit's stupid, especially because, Jason's never once been afraid of water, ever, in his time in these movies. But regardless, it's a fun time. Robert Englund is having the time of his life, and I wish Kane Hodder got to play Jason in this one, but it's still a very fun movie, and yeah, it's the 5th one in this franchise for me. At number 4, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddys Revenge. This movie is actually pretty good. It focuses on a male character, which is rare for this franchise and also for horror in general. He's kind of considered the first Scream king. Also, this movie has a lot of erotic subtext for the LGBTQ community, which is cool, especially during that time. Yeah, this movie is actually very fun to watch. The main character is the sweatiest man of all alive, but also he gives some of the best screams I've ever heard in my life. Freddy is very wet and disgusting looking in this movie. The prosthetics are really good. Really good kills. Really actually good characters that I cared about. Yeah, I like Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's often considered the black sheep of the franchise because when you go from 1 to this one to 3, this one kind of gets like erased in the middle. Like no one ever actually references this movie. I don't know why. This one actually is amazing and I like it a lot. Taking our third spot, I have New Nightmare. Wes Craven came back to this franchise with a new idea. This movie's meta as hell. This was kind of like his practice run for Scream, and I think this movie is absolutely fun. You bring back Heather Langenkamp as Nancy, so it's automatically going to be good. This one takes place in our world, where Nancy's being stalked by something that's not actually Freddy, because we're doing like this thing where like she's playing Heather, not Nancy. It's in the real world. She talks to Wes. She talks to Robert Englund outside of his makeup. It's a lot of meta commentary, fun shenanigans, and I think it's really fun and really well done. I like this one a lot, mostly because I love Wes Craven, and you got Heather Langenkamp coming back. So when those two are like on screen together, it's kind of impossible for the movie to be bad, and this one is actually very fun. So I'm happy. Next up, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. This is my favorite out of the Dream trilogy section of these movies. Freddy 3 is very fun. It has very good kills, very good Freddy moments. This is before Freddy became a full-on cartoon character. He's still menacing and scary in this one, but he's still cracking jokes. And this is where he delivers my favorite line in the franchise. He says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch," and slams this girl's head into the TV while he's like playing a TV. It's one of my favorite moments in this franchise. It's one of my favorite moments in horror history. Yeah, Freddy's at his best here, pretty much. Yeah, I love Dream Warriors. It's so fun. The kids all discover that when they go in their dreams, they have powers and everything. It's silly and stupid, but for the context of this series, I think that's a cool addition to this franchise. So yeah, and also Nancy came back as Heather Langenkamp came back as Nancy. So that was always fun. So yeah, I really like this movie. I think it actually rips. For me, nothing beats the number one, which is, of course, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original from 1984. This movie gave birth to one of probably the most iconic killer in history, Mr. Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund. The thought of a demon stalking you while you sleep is horrific, because sleeping is one of my favorite things to do. The thought of not being able to sleep because you're being stalked by something like that is terrifying. The kills are really good, especially that shot in the beginning where Tina's getting dragged around on the ceiling. Phenomenal. Great practical effects, especially with her Freddy leaning through that wall over Nancy. This movie just has too many iconic moments. Wes Craven brought his A game here, and I think it probably launched his career even further than it probably already was. Yeah, there's just no beating the original Nightmare on Elm Street. It's fucking fantastic. That's why it's number one, baby. Well, guys, that was all 9 movies in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise ranked. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more. We're gaining subs every day. We're heading closer to 400. I'm very excited. Next week, we will be ranking all of the Texas Chainsaw movies, which was just a fucking roller coaster getting through. But yeah, I hope to see you guys then. Have a fantastic week and enjoy your spooky season. Bye-bye!